So, are the pyramids and other structures in our realm just computer motherboard, microprocessors, micro circuits, and have we been lied to our entire lives about what these structures actually are? I mean, we've most likely, you've probably heard by now that the Great Pyramids were not actually tombs like we were taught in school, burial tombs, but they were something more like a power energy structure that was used for ancient energy or healing or something like that. And the more we look at these pictures here, I mean, it starts to be kind of compelling. So I'm wondering, and I've talked about on this channel before, how I think artificial intelligence is way older than they're telling us. They've lied about everything. So, is artificial intelligence ancient? I do believe so. Is there organic? I mean, I talk about how we live in a matrix, and if we are indeed in some sort of a matrix, then yes, it is based on data and it is based on binary codes and motherboards and microprocessors and all these type of things. But are these pictures of these pyramids, do they kind of tell the tale? I mean, were these things ancient data centers? And were they microprocessors, motherboards? Are we looking at micro circuits? Were some of these old buildings transmitters of energy? And what is all this stuff? Well, what is a motherboard? Well, it's the motherboard and the microprocessor of the CPU work together as a main foundation and brain of a computer. The motherboard is a large circuit board that holds everything together. The microprocessor does the actual computing work, and the CPU socket is the specific spot where they connect. The motherboard acts as a central highway that links all parts of a computer, provides slots for memory or RAM, expansion cards like graphic cards, houses the chipset, which controls data flow between the processor and other hardware. Microprocessor CPU serves as the primary brain that runs programs and performs calculations. The processes instructions sent from software and system memory, generates heat, and requires a fan or heat sink attached directly above its slot. Well, look at this image. So why do all the pyramids around the world, not all of them, but why do these specific pyramids around the world align with the Orion constellation? What does this have to do with anything? And how does this relate to some sort of motherboard, computer, microprocessing? Well, look at this. In Egypt, you got these Giza pyramids, which match up with the same pattern layout as the Xi'an pyramids in China. And then you got the Teotihuacan, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that name wrong, pyramids in Mexico. Look exactly the same layout as Orion. Now, we've been told that these structures were all built by people using rocks and sticks and donkeys and all this stuff. But the reality is, for those of you that don't know by now, and you should know, that these things were laid out perfectly. They had more capability to build things back then than the people nowadays are showing that they can't even do this kind of stuff. So not only these pyramids, these pyramids are kind of like a big FU to the modern academics that want to just keep on telling us these old stories about these are just tombs and these people were using sticks and wagons and donkeys and building things with rocks, and it's just ridiculous at this point. Obviously these things are built on certain ley lines. They look like microprocessors, and it's just, what do we do with this? Computer motherboards. So let's look at these modern day data centers. Modern day data centers consume significant volumes of water, primarily for server cooling, ranging from 300,000 gallons per day for a typical facility to up to 5 million gallons daily for large hyperscale sites. Lots of water consumption. Well, I got to thinking about that. Well, in Egypt, the Great Pyramids, there has been a lot of talk now for years that there's water chambers built underneath those pyramids. And what were those for? Was it built like a data center? Is this a freaking data center? And were these water systems designed to help feed the data center? I don't know. I just find it fascinating. Well, there is a lot of evidence to show here that in Egypt, that with the water layers on the buildings and the Sphinx, the fossil and erosion patterns are water erosion patterns. And people have been talking about this now for quite a while. So, did the data centers, these Giza pyramids, did they drink all the water? Did they run out of water because of them? And how are we going to deal with all this water consumption with all these data centers they're putting up all over the place? Well, right now we're in the dog days of summer, traditionally run from July 3rd to August 11th, marking the hottest weeks of the year in the northern hemisphere and tying together the celestial figures of Sirius, Canis Major, and Orion. The Sirius dog star, Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky, sits in the constellation Canis Major. Orion's loyal companion, mythology stargazing Canis Major follows right behind Orion. It's the hunter in the sky, leading ancient cultures to view Sirius as Orion's hunting dog. So right now we're dealing with helical rising, they call it. So around the beginning of August, it starts to be visible, rising just before dawn in the eastern sky after being hidden by the glare of the sun during the late spring and early summer. Ancient Greeks and Romans thought that the bright star Sirius rose alongside the sun and combined its intense heat with the sun's warmth, causing extreme heat, drought, fevers, and bad luck. So, looking more into that, part of that ancient folklore for the Egyptian pyramids is that Egyptians welcomed the rising star because it signaled the annual flooding of the Nile River. Well, they needed not only water for agriculture, but what if they needed water for these data? What if the data centers needed all that water too? And in August 5th, it says here that Egyptians have celebrated the flooding since at least early antiquity. Today, the annual flooding is commemorated by a 2-week holiday called Wafa el-Nil, beginning on August 15. It is also celebrated in the Coptic Church by ceremonially throwing a martyr's relic into the river, giving it the name the martyr's finger. Well, I would just like to take this moment in time to commemorate this August 15th martyr's finger and just give a nice kitty cat middle finger out there to all the academics that lied to us all these years, that have been lying about most everything. And now just another huge fat lie uncovered, that the Great Pyramids and these pyramids around the world that match up with the Orion constellation, that obviously were built by more advanced people than we are today. I would just like to give this middle finger to those folks. And the rest of you, hope you have a good day out there.